You know, I spent weeks trying to tell you guys that the cracks were starting to show here with Spider-Man PS4, but you didn't want to listen because you were like, too busy drinking Brian's Kool-Aid and too busy on the damn hype train. And now yet here you are, watching my video review because you're already bored out of your skull with Spider-Man PS4. And you know, you only have yourself to blame because I warned you. I told you guys this was going to happen. But again, you didn't want to listen because you were like, oh my God, Michael. That's what you were doing. And Insomniac, you know what they did in response? They took the money and they ran, make it rain. It's time. It's time for a reality check, folks. It is time to get down to the nitty gritty. Folks, welcome to my Spider-Man PS4 video review. Look, I know most of you are going to disagree, and I couldn't care less, but here's the thing about Spider-Man PS4. The graphics are terrible. They really are. You know, and I'm not just going to talk about it, I'm going to show you. Okay? So that's what we're doing here in today's video. We're not just talking, we're showing, unlike Insomniac. So, you might be thinking, well, Michael, what are you talking about? How can the graphics be so terrible, according to you? Well, look at this clip here. Okay? One moment, the game looks like a modern-day 2018 video game. Then you pan over to the left here, and it looks like a game that came straight out of 1998. Do better, Insomniac. This is inexcusable. How do you not hide the unplayable areas? Put some smog, put some fog in there. I went back to the Amazing Spider-Man 2, a PS3 game, and they did a better job at hiding the skybox, the unplayable areas. Of course Insomniac didn't do that though, because they don't care. Again, it's all about the bands! But you guys don't care. Because in your eyes, it's all about style. It's all about presentation. You don't care about features. You don't care about anything else other than, oh my God, it's brand new and shiny. Next, we move on to the boat people. And I know most of you are going to sit there and say, wait, Michael, that's just an Easter egg to Spider-Man 2. How is that an Easter egg to Spider-Man 2? I just played Spider-Man 2. I have Spider-Man 2, unlike all of you. Okay, I own Spider-Man 2. I bought Spider-Man 2 when it came out. And I didn't see those people in Spider-Man 2. So you can't just sit there and say, oh, Michael, it's an Easter egg. That's what they want you to believe. You exposed the game, and they quickly had to come up with an excuse. But again, you don't care. I could go on and on and on about the graphics and the inconsistencies with the graphics. I really could. But I know none of you are going to budge. You're going to sit there and say, you're so wrong, Michael. I bought a PS4 Pro just for this game. Imagine plopping down $400 of your hard-earned money for this. Yikes. Not to mention the fact that this game has no reflections, and the reflections that you do see are fake. It's just a sad situation all around. But again, you don't care, do you? Next, we talk about the world here in Spider-Man PS4. This is where they really drop the ball. Really drop the ball. Because this isn't a living, breathing world here in Spider-Man PS4. And I know the excuse is going to be, well, Michael, it's just a Spider-Man game. Hold your horses. No. We're not going to go down that road and make excuses for Insomniac. It's just a Spider-Man game. So therefore that don't need to work. Therefore that don't need to be much better because it's just a Spider-Man game. No, wrong. Go back to a game like Grand Theft Auto 4, a game that came out a decade ago. And the crosswalks in Grand Theft Auto 4 work. Yet here in Spider-Man PS4, those small little details that you think don't matter add up in an open world game. That's what sets a great open world game apart from a generic one. Those details. And they forgot to include those details here in Spider-Man PS4. And it's such a sad situation because if you go back to the Amazing Spider-Man 2, even the crosswalks work in that game. The details matter. Okay? And this living, breathing world that they would love you to believe that they have here in Spider-Man PS4 is anything but that. You walk around and you're just bored out of your skull. You can't interact with anything or really anyone other than like, high five, let's take a selfie. You see the same animations over and over and over again. There's no incentive to explore. Oh wait, that's right. Well, Macca, you gotta activate them towers and collect things. We got a bunch of FedEx missions here in this game. It's a 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10, Macca. How is this game a 9 out of 10? A 10 out of 10? Even an 8 out of 10? When it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But again, you don't care. Oh, and the web swinging? Oh. I was right about the web swinging, folks. I told you guys that this was going to happen. Folks, let me show you this. The web's literally attached to skies here in this game. So how can you sit there and say that they got the web swinging right? How can you sit there and say that this is the best web swinging ever in a Spider-Man game when they have webs attached to the skies? You guys want to harp on the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 and say, well, those games sick, Mac. They're disgraced to Spider-Man. Yeah, this game ain't doing much better, is it? They couldn't stick with their word. In our game, the web's actually attached to the buildings. It's all physics-based. We did it right. That's the one thing that we made sure to get right before moving on to anything else. Wrong! You have webs that attach to nothing. And that's so unfortunate because, my God, they dropped the ball here with the web swinging in Spider-Man PS4 as it's all style over substance. You know, I went back to Spider-Man 2, folks, and there's literally an option before you start the game on what type of web swinging experience that you would like to have as you're playing the game. In Spider-Man PS4, you get no option because it's all pre-canned animations that look really glossy and glamorous and it's like glitz and oh my God! You don't care about functionality. You don't care about having that control. You don't care about having a true sense of speed or momentum here in this game because Spider-Man PS4 offers none of that. You know, here's an example, folks. The dive bomb here in this game is so laughably bad. It's just unbelievably stupid, okay? I'm jumping off in this clip the Freedom Tower, okay? And I'm doing the dive bomb. And as you can see, you know, it's like, okay, I'm jumping off the Freedom Tower. I'm Spider-Man! And then I do the same thing on another building that's not even as close to being as tall as the Freedom Tower, and it's the same freaking thing. It doesn't matter if you jump off of a 200-foot building or a 100-foot building, you're still going to have that same dive bomb animation because the speed limit is there with the dive bomb. And everything else, the web swinging sucks. Nothing but hot garbage. But again, you don't care. And you know, there's a lot of oddities here in Spider-Man PS4. For example, there's limitations on where you can crawl and where you can't. Why is that a thing in place? I go back to the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I go back to Spider-Man 2, and you can crawl wherever your heart desires. Yet here in Spider-Man PS4, we had to make limitations to make sure that this game was just as presentable as possible. We think you're gonna love it. Pre-order today. You know what I mean? It's so ridiculous. You have a Spider-Man game here, and you completely drop the ball, not only on the web swing, but the crawling as well. This is a Spider-Man game. That's what Spider-Man does. He crawls. But again, you don't care. So here's the thing. We could go on and on and on, and I mean I could. I really could. But I know none of you are going to budge. I know most of you are going to sit there and say, oh my God, how wrong could you be, Mackle? But here's the thing about Spider-Man PS4. You want my score? I score 1 through 10. You want it? I'm going to give it to you. You know what I give Spider-Man PS4? I give Spider-Man PS4 a 6 out of 10. Now, why do I give Spider-Man PS4 a 6 out of 10? Well, it's simple. This game brings nothing new to the table. This game doesn't even set itself apart from any other Spider-Man game that has come before it. It's the same old thing over and over and over and over and over again. We've been there and we've done that, Insomniac. It's a very, very average, dumbed down version of a Spider-Man experience. It's all about, again, style over substance. It's all about catering to the masses. You press a few buttons, you do some cool swings, and everyone's like a 9 out of 10, a 10 out of 10. What do I see? I see something that is very average. Is it necessarily the worst thing in the world? No. But I'll tell you right here, right now, there's definitely a room for improvement. And if you fail to see that, then you got your head up Brian's ass. And that's unfortunate.